me feel like a bad girl. Feel like a feel
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 4 of Belong Arena's Clash for Fortnite. Toby Campbell and George Overton talking you through this week as always. George, it's the big one. It's the finals. It's the week number 4 for this awesome journey that we've been on to start. I mean, it's been incredible. But how are you feeling, man? Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm pretty damn excited. Cannot lie. Fortnite Fridays always gets me going, and we're coming right to the end of this season as well. So we're right on the cusp of a brand new season, but more importantly, we're right on the cusp of the final. And as you can see, it is close between those top 3 teams, and there is all to play for coming into these finals.
Absolutely, and Stratford Athena have been absolutely incredible, apart from that very last week that we just saw, of course, and that's the question, right? What's the roster going to be for them today, and are they going to be able to lock in that first spot come the end of the night? That's the big question everybody is trying to find an answer for. Of course, Sutton Active have come up in a really, really big way, finding the second place position. NS Vogue, Leicester Tooth as well, and Birmingham NS Wolf. I'm sure everyone will be familiar with those team names as they've been knocking around the top 5 now, pretty much week in, week out, right? And have had varying degrees of success in terms of their individual, Fridays as they've played and performed. The question for me, George, honestly, is who's going to perform today, right? Well, I've mentioned Stratford Athena, but I think each of these teams are now going to be vying for their absolute best performance yet. But it's been getting closer and closer each week, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Stratford Athena looked really, really strong throughout the whole tournament, apart from the final week, running up to the finals. I thought they looked a little bit shaky without Vortexia, and we definitely saw them struggle a little bit that week. I think it was week 3 in total. But I'm really excited, honestly, going into the grand finals to see who can pick up the win. Build mode to start it off with, going into no build, then build to leave it off. And yeah, it should be fairly exciting. Obviously, build mode is the most hotly contested, I would say. Most players alive down to the final storm circle. But here we go.
Let's get it started then, folks, shall we? This is an exciting time, I think, for a lot of these players, right? It's been a 4-week journey, it's safe to say, with how competitive it's been. And I'm really excited to see how, as I've already mentioned, how teams do turn up. Is it going to be a really big performance and a big showing for the occasion, or will the pressure perhaps get to a lot of these newer players, these newer individuals to the competitive side of things in Fortnite? I do actually wonder, in particular, how Stratford Athena are going to look, especially as they get perhaps one game under their belt and really settle into the occasion.
Yeah, very true. But another team that needs to have a massive week is Sutton Ecto, and we're watching them right here, see if they can get a decent start. We're seeing a rapid SMG and a hammer, some grenades as well, not particularly used too heavily, but some shields as well. So a fairly decent start for this team, and yeah, they'll loot up their area. They'll see what they can get. They've got a key there as well, so you're pretty much guaranteed an epic or legendary of your choosing when you go to the boxes. And as you can see, they found their prime shotgun purple. So that is probably, I would say, the best shotgun in the game. Could have gone for the orange, the legendary hammer. Chose not to. Chose the prime shotgun.
Yeah. Absolutely. Great breakdown. And yeah, so far, I think this is a little good landing for these guys because historically, right, they have been quite effective actually in towards the later stages of gameplay, right? A lot of teams typically have an easier time early on, right? And they can kind of consistently get to the end game, but then struggle a fair bit. But I think this is different with Sutton Acto in that once they get to at least like the top 5, you know they're going to have a pretty solid performance there. You can rely on them to handle a lot of the tricky situations. Yes, they might be outslain and outgunned in the end by Stratford Athena, true, but you can kind of trust them at least to give a very consistent and hard game for anyone who might find themselves there. The issue has been, though, in the past, that sometimes they have struggled in that mid to early game if they do find one of those tough opponents early on.
Very true. That is very true. We don't actually see it too often, do we, in build mode, when teams find each other in between POIs or they find each other at POI. Usually the teams back off instead of going for these fights. But as you can see, Ads and Vortexia. Vortexia back this week. Woohoo! Rave Cave is the destination for this team. They love it. It is their go-to, and they are never contested.
I know, right? And it's, I think at this point, if there's any research going on, right, from a lot of these players as they go back on, say, a Saturday morning after playing the night before and kind of get some research in to prepare them for the next week, I think the first thing you look for is to see where Stratford and Athena are landing and kind of they get their game plan, their strategy. And it's clear as day for us casters, even week one, where they like to land. It's always the Rave Cave. You might as well just rename it to their own cave at this point. And it is their own cave, especially today, because we've got ads, and as you said, Vortexia, we've got the original Dream Team back. And so, you know, if you're kind of like predicting who's going to be the better team today, you are going to be feeling a lot safer if you went with Stratford Athena originally, for sure.
100%. 100%. As you can see, they're just farming up their mats. It doesn't look like too many teams are, well, contesting each other. There is a Flutter Barn. There is some potential for some fights going on there. But RM and Icy, in their favourite spot, their favourite landing spot, is Tainted Towers, which is very nice. But we are having a couple of little technical issues, so we are just going to come back over to us for a bit while we do get those sorted. But a good start to the game for some of these teams, getting their mats, getting their builds down. And yeah, we'll have to see how they get on once we do get back to them.
Absolutely so. And of course, their journey is going to be continuing as well as they go through the early game and kind of loot up. And we'll be sure to keep you guys apprised as to the situation with a lot of these players. But we did get a kind of a brief look, George, at Arham and Icy. We were mentioning, you know, your typical landing spots, especially in terms of Stratford Athena. Well, Arham and Icy, we know they've loved to land in Tainted Towers, but they have had a little bit of competition there. From the Ghost Squad. And I'm not sure if you checked, George, and saw on the left there on the map, but Ghosted there, you know, they're here once again, no surprise there at full strength. And it didn't seem like there was much competition this time around between those two teams for the Tainted Tower spot, which is a bit of a change there that I noticed very quickly when I looked at the radar. It seems like perhaps the Ghost team are a little bit more cognizant, perhaps, of the difficulties of that fight. And as you can see, as we come back to gameplay here on the stream, Arham and Icy are pretty relaxed as they kind of look around for potential loot. You can see one individual far in the distance, but they're chilling, right? They're perfectly relaxed right now.
I got a message actually on Instagram from Arham on, I think it was on Tuesday, and wanted to say some kind words. Said that he's really been enjoying the streams, really been enjoying the commentary, and asked me to pass that note over to you and from Icy as well. So that was very nice of them. Looking to get some brownie points with the casters. Obviously, I kid. No, it's a pleasure, and yeah, seeing them in Tainted Towers, getting some decent loot, but nothing too crazy to be fair for RM so far. Wants to probably get a better assault rifle. Plenty of mats though. Also got the goop gun, as we like to call it.
Yep, that's for sure. Totally agree with you on that. And yeah, thank you to RM and Icy. We appreciate it and really enjoyed their gameplay. Honestly, from the start, they've been a really iconic team there. Let's hop back on board though with Vortexia and ads. It seems like they're a little bit of damage. You can see they kind of like to be a bit more risque, shall we say, with their gameplay. Honestly, with some of the storm positionings and things. But these are the two best players potentially in terms of raw skill, on top of the fact that they're the best team. And so you can kind of trust in their ability to, especially when combined together, right, as a duo, can kind of work through these tricky situations and really test the limits as to what's possible in terms of, say, looting, back in the spawn. You can see right now that there's no health, right, available for Vortex. It's just shields and weaponry in terms of his inventory. But this is what I mean. This is the star-studded kind of gameplay that you want to see from these guys, where they take all the 1% advantages they can and then you really utilize them later in the game.
Yeah, well, obviously, when they're at Rave Cave, it's an ideal situation because there's plenty of travel options to get out of there. You've got the hamster balls, you've got the turbines with the wind to take you around the map. You've also got plenty of bounce pads as well, launch pads. And as you can see here, not really caring that the storm is coming in and dealing a bit of damage, because plenty of meds there to take care of themselves. Can just take their time, loot up, make sure there's no possible opportunity for them to be outgunned. They want to make sure they've got the best weaponry possible, and we are seeing them do that. They've got so many heals. Look at this, 6 shockwave grenades, 10 splashes. It's a perfect situation. Ads will also have quite a lot of heals too. It's an ideal situation for them.
It is. They really are setting their sights on getting as much loot as they possibly can here, because I don't think they've even seen opponents yet, right? They haven't even seen anyone. Never mind trying to shoot and engage and risk their life here. It's been all storm. But speaking of that, Goat and Vitaly in the distance. They've definitely spotted them there, and I'm sure Vortexia is calling that one out. They've got the nice little height advantage as they come down, and Goat and Vitaly know exactly where they are at this point as we see really the first engagement to kick off this Friday.
Indeed, Vitaly taking a bit of damage there. Goat's taking a bit of damage. Goat goes for the goose gun, and Vortexia goes low. So what, 13 health remaining. Gonna have to back down, splash up. And Ads is going to be on the forefront trying to keep that battle going. Vortexia immediately burning through all of those splashes that they'd saved up, and that is not what they wanted at all.
Not ideal, no, not ideal. That I do respect in that. Oh, well, yeah, you just walk through a door and find even more. I know. I mean, that's absolutely going to be really enjoyed by them. But no, Goat and Lazon actually very quickly just skirting away, right back in the opposite direction, away from them. They're trying to prioritize positioning from the next circle, but also just trying to disengage completely from these two players. And I don't, I'm not surprised in the slightest, George, given how many times they have faced off across these past 3 weeks before today. And now they're in trouble though a little bit, as they've got loads of pressure around them. On top of Vortexia and Ads chasing after them. Go completely down instantly. Little bit of shotgun damage. Vortexia with the down itself. Chasing after Vitaly, who has now got half his health remaining, with Vortexia coming up right behind him.
We talk about Vortexia's building quite a lot, but I think we need to talk about the aim there. Absolutely crazy to get that headshot shotgun from quite a distance and take him out. We're going to be building through, but can't quite find him. Does see that Ads is fairly low, so he's going to build up towards his teammate potentially just to make sure nice and protected. Going to go for the shockwave through the build. Isn't going to find anyone yet. Does find him now though, and gets a shot onto Vitaly, but can't find the kill. Goat is going really low, and it looks like Vitaly might have to leave him.
Oh, Vortexia as well, just brought down to 15 HP on that exchange of shots, but Vortexia does get the kill nonetheless and wraps up the double kill as his teammate who is downed for Goat is dropped. Well played Vortexia. And Ads, as you notice as well, George, he was quite low as well at times. It was not an easy fight for these two. I know we've been bigging them up so far on the broadcast, and for any new viewers at home, I'm sure you probably would assume that they're really just completely unstoppable. And yes, they perhaps are really so high in raw skill that they can make it look easy at times. That right there for me, George, I'm not sure if you agree, but didn't look easy for them in the slightest. And Vortexia even had to pull out the shockwave grenade to really bring out the proper high-level individual skill and smarts to be able to dismantle them.
Yeah, it requires a lot of in-game knowledge to be able to seize that opportunity, and Vortexia did that perfectly. But even to have the confidence just to go for these fights, even though he knows his teammate is currently out of action, trying to heal himself up, and you can see the confidence with some of the builds and the edits, just jumping up through them easily. And honestly, Vortexia is, I would say, the highest skill level player in the lobby, but that does not mean that they are going to pick up the win. We've seen them be upset before. We've seen them take L's before. It is not a free win for this team. They still have to fight their way through it, and there are still plenty of high-level teams in this one that can provide that upset. RM and Icy still there, Solo there, Sev, Tipsy, and Jammy still there. Plenty of these top-ranked teams, as you can see, Jammy and Tipsy currently looking to maybe laser N-Star. Can't find any bullets onto him though.
I see it, Arham as well, just to the left. See Talisman Lilac, someone we haven't mentioned today, his teammate as well, just to his left. Got a few top teams now restacking up across the Sanctum here, just off in the distance, and yeah, you can see several there as well. Two teams actually pretty much next to each other there in the Tornado, lurking around as they try and vie for position. And I do wonder, let's catch up back up to N-Star as he literally takes a look down the eye of the storm, if you will. can't really see much as of right now. A lot of these players, they're just lurking around, trying to, as I said, vie for position, ready for what is about to be absolute chaos, I'm sure, as the circle does break down a little bit more.
Yeah, the Ghosts team currently coming up to the big statue where I actually had a final storm here yesterday. I was playing with my housemate and we died. Right, it was a 2v2 and we took the L, but it's a decent place to come. There's plenty of hiding spots, plenty of high ground opportunities as well, and as you can see here, Tyz has taken perfect advantage of that. The question is, can he find the headshot with the sniper? Because if you hit that headshot, you know it is going to take off all that shield and pretty much all the health. But you can see here that the storm is coming in. All the players are just trying to get the high ground, not playing it too riskily either. You can see most of the players just waiting around, waiting to see where the next storm will go.
Yeah, look at that. Wonder if he can get a decent shot here with the bolt action sniper. Oh, lining it up just a little bit too high, a little bit too late. I think he did get a connection there, but that's Jammy just there with his teammate. And Sad Tipsy does shield up from that shot. Icy and Arm still very much alive there in the distance as well. And Talisman, Lilac, and Heisenberg. Curious to see. Yep, they are essentially still far off in this corner too. As all of these teams do just start building up around this Sanctumary, as I said. It is a concerning time for a lot of these players as well because of how many players are in this vicinity so early on, right? Onto the fourth circle, right? Everyone is here ready to go early, as though everyone made the decision, George, to make sure that they get position first and kill second to get that advantage. And so everyone, as a result, is kind of stacking up heavily now.
Yeah, you can see everybody's actually in the, well, a lot of people are in the tornado actually, as the final, well, not the final storm, but one of the fifth, I guess, storm will come through the fifth zone. And yeah, this is a little bit troublesome because it does make it quite difficult to build up when you've got this tornado in the middle of the field. We will see somebody go low and drop down. And as you can see, a lot of the players are currently waiting in the tornado, chilling with each other. You know, it does happen sometimes. But we'll have to take advantage,
right?
You do,
essentially.
You do.
And with how competitive it's been, and the amount of time that these players have had playing against each other, they kind of understand a lot of the strengths and weaknesses around them, right? And you have more information to work with, and you know how difficult it is from experience that oftentimes playing for position and playing more passively is just the correct move. End of discussion there. It's the greatest calculation when you look at your own loot and the positions of opponents around you, right? So, yeah, no, absolutely. I thoroughly agree that oftentimes this is what needs to come through. As you can see, Ads and Vortexia have been a little bit more passive in many ways. They have just picked up a kill. I'm not sure if you saw off in the distance as Ads does get the kill for a down that he had. But still, 20 players remaining at this point in time. And so, as I mentioned, continuing pressure will build for all of these players. The loot is starting to stack up in some teams' favor. In fact, Icy and Arham, as he picks up a kill too, they've been doing really, really good with the good gun and the loot that they've been able to acquire. Plenty of shields as well. So let's see, can they clean up the kill here on Sanja?
Yeah, it'll be really difficult for Thayer here to push down that hill and get the revive. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Looks like he might just be leaving it as loads of bullets come out. I'm pretty sure there must be a team behind Icy and Aram as getting absolutely lasered Thayer there. And the zone, well, Icy and Aram, they are just about in it, along with another team, and Sanja will go down, and so will Thayer, and that will be that team eliminated. Sad Tipsy and Icy will be the people picking up the kills there. Very nice for them, but yeah, look, all the players now coming out of that storm and looking to come and find some ground, but Solo takes so much damage. This is the problem when you play this safe. Solo going to drop low, the goop gun doing so much damage. The bubble will come out to protect him.
I'm not sure about this decision, George, for Solo and Dan to fly in like that between the two towers, and teams in the caliber of Icy. Honestly, and his teammate in Arham. It's insane for me for that to happen. Vortexia, really weak, actually. Ads is down, yeah. Surprising, actually. Ads is in a whole lot of trouble right now. And I do wonder if... No, that's Ads. That's Ads gone. Talisman Lilac will clean up. And now Vortexia is all on his own as he's been able to find cover right at the top of this tower. But it was close even for Vortexia. And none other than Talisman and Heisenberg were the ones to deliver the final blow.
Well, we've seen him do it before. Vortexia has been able to do it before. Pick up that win, clutching it up for his team. Question is, will we see it today? As there is 17 players left. Talisman going to be dropping some bullets into there. Blast cone, or sorry, shockwave grenades out. Vortexia takes a few more bullets. Out of build, not out of build, just can't build. And Vortexia goes down. It's a massive shot from Ghost Haze to pick up the kill. And that will be our top team going out, and we potentially will see a chance for another team to pick up the win here. Insane
stuff. Great finish off that by the Ghost member. And it's surprising as well, and very unfortunate in many ways, that he did hit the tree, Vortexia, so he would get full damage as he, as he needed to literally get off with all the enemies around him shooting him to find cover. But no, they are out. Rad's now under a lot of fire from Ghost himself. Great shots from Ty as he's still connecting despite the movement in front. As well, finding damage on his teammate too. And Heisenberg and Talisman, well, they've still had high ground this entire time as a result. And Icy continuing to pick up kills. Texas will clean up one, but he does get down. And Ty's just chucking his teammate just to the right there. And now I wonder, is he going to look for a better position to revive? He's trying to literally move his teammate away from this Heisenberg Talisman height dominance from above. And will revive in the bush. And I think this will just about... No, maybe not. It won't connect. It will not come through. Texas will be taken down as Heisenberg uses his complete game IQ there to shoot through the bush and find the kill.
Yeah, the goo gun coming in handy once again. We're down to just 11 players, 6 squads. Taze is that solo player. But who is going to pick up the win? It is looking very, very good right now for Talisman and Heisenberg. I will not lie, sitting on top of that building, but Iron and Icy, they're always in for that shout, and it does look like a lot of damage goes on to Dan. Will drop. Solo still full health, full shields, looking to try and break into the building, but chooses otherwise. Maybe going to go to try and help his teammate. You see Icy once again with that goo gun. Is going to look to drop it in. Will the damage come through? Will it be enough? Dan drops, but Solo doesn't. Solo stays alive, and that's another kill for Iron and Icy.
Excellent cleanup from these guys, and now that's 5 kills in total actually from Icy and Arm. They're doing excellently in the end game. One of our criticisms actually in the past weeks, George, that they struggled really again now of taking towers many times in that mid game. So really good to see actually, and unfortunate for Solo and Dan is that, again, their positioning has just not benefited there whatsoever. As we do flick over once again to Jammy and Sad Tipsy, masters of navigating the chaos of the end game. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, it's currently just all players are just being a bit safe. You can see there, N-Star very, very low. Taze all by himself. And the players are moving with the storm, looking to try and keep in. N-Star is going to go down. Solo picked up the kill there. And Arm and Icy just below this team here. Jammy looking to try and find some materials. 150 to his name. And the builds will come through, looking to get to a safe point. Shockwave grenades out all the way into the storm. And this is a lot of damage coming out onto Jammy. A lot of damage indeed. It will be alright for now.
Oh, it was tight though. It was tight, but he found the gap as he built up vertically. As he does go into it once more to regain better position around the builds. He's a bit split up from his teammate, mind you, and there's a lot of action around him. And yep, Sad Tipsy's going to be dropped as a result of them splitting up as much as they did. Misty, of course, lost his teammate in N-Star earlier, and he has been kind of navigating the storm in a very similar fashion too. But really, it is the Icy and Arham show now, as they are continuing to really leverage the loot, the kills they've had, the positioning they've had near the top, in order to just completely avoid a lot of the pressure of this storm. It is starting to hit them a little bit now, but they have caused a lot of damage even up to this point.
If Icy can find that Mystic shotgun headshot, it will be good for them. Icy, Arm does drop down. Icy builds through, might be able to find Misty. Does, great shot, but Talisman finds a lot of damage onto Icy, has to build and tunnel out. Heisenberg goes down, so does Aram though. who is even left alive? Talisman's out there in the storm, and Icy will drop. Talisman and Heisenberg pick up the kills. Talisman drops again. And Ghost ties. And Solo Links, it's a 1v1.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Players dropping like flies, and it comes down to 1v1. Solo is trying to close the gap, gets a lot of damage under Ghost ties, but no. 47 HP, the circle's getting smaller and smaller. Ghost will go all the way down and look for the final shot, but it's not going to happen. Solo Link with essentially 1 HP in the end will find it. Scratch that, it is 6, but nonetheless, what a fantastic finish from Solo, despite losing Dan quickly in that endgame phase, George. What an amazing clutch up from him.
6 HP and 2 builds remaining. What a ending to that game that was. A massive clutch up by Solo Linky. Dan got taken out a fair bit before that by some goop gun, I think it was, from Talisman and Heisenberg. But look at that. 7 kills on Aram and Icy, 7 kills on Talisman and Heisenberg, and 7 kills on Tex and Ties. What a game that was. What an absolute fantastic start to our finals.
7 eliminations for Talisman, Lilac, Heisenberg, Ghost, and Arham and Icy. They all just stack up the kills so heavily in their favor. Solo Link and Dan, of course, 4 eliminations for them. Tipsy and Jammy, they find 4 eliminations. And Vortexian adds the huge surprise of them getting 9th place, barely just in the top 10. 4 eliminations to their name as well. And of course, N-Star and Misty, despite getting to that end game that we were discussing early on, didn't get any eliminations. Saith and Maka as well. Saith got taken out very early on towards the latter stages of the game. 13th position for them. We saw Ghost and Vitali very quickly try to play for position and back off. They struggled as well. They were to get knocked out at the 15th position. Tyzalad and Crooklad knocked out very early, I should say, with 21 place coming in for Tyzer. Crooklad 17. It's a very shocking first game in many ways, George. I'm sure you'll agree in that how things played out with Stratford Athena getting taken down that quickly. Usually they're the masters of navigating the really big chaos at the end and kind of navigating their way. But no, it seemed like the chaos came for them at that point, and they just weren't able to respond, were they?
Yeah, I mean, ads went down a little bit earlier. Vortexia tried their best, but just couldn't in the end. I don't know what happened with the builds. Was trying to put down some builds, but it wasn't allowing him. It was going red. Maybe it was on a already built, or maybe it was on a tree or something like that, or on the wrong part of the build. But either way, crazy game. And to end it off with a massive win, honestly, I don't know what to say about that. It was something we haven't seen before. 2 teams fighting it out, and it was solo players as well. Their teammates had died. They were looking to clutch it up, but in the end...
Yeah, despite the criticisms I had personally of, say, Dan and Solo Link's positioning, it was Solo Link that clutched up in the end, despite the chaos that he literally put in front of him, behind, left and right. He really was in the thick of it very early on. Of that end game phase, shall we say. So yeah, congratulations to Solo, of course, and his teammate Dan. Well played from them in that first game as they do take the Battle Royale victory. We'll go to a very quick break then, folks, and we'll try and get to game number 2 as fast as we can. But don't forget, it is no build next. Let's see how the teams respond. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back right now.
You make me, you make me, you make me feel like a bad girl. You make me, you make me, you make me feel like a bad girl. Make me feel like a bad girl. Feel like a bad girl. Feel
completely. Seep into my bones and veins. Still feel you feeling me. I can't seem to release this pain that you've planted inside me. You can take this from me, but you won't watch me bleed. You can take this from me, but you won't watch me bleed. You won't watch me bleed. Just right on the face in my way. I will show you crazy. Still feel you feeling me. I can't seem to find peace. I can't let go. Every time you lose control, there's another blood I hold. Twisted and twisted now. So get those roads. Just right on the face in my way. I'll show you crazy. It takes some time to realize it's not your fault. It took me time, my whole damn life, to find the power that's in my hands. To find the power, to find the power that's in my hands.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time once again for the finals to continue. It's week number 4. Toby Campbell and George Overton taking you through Fortnite Belong Arena Clash. It's time for game 2, George. It's a fantastic time to be a fan of Belong Arenas and Fortnite. You throw them both together and you have some incredible games, clearly, as we've seen in, week out. Shall we go to the leaderboard immediately? Because this is a huge deal, I think, for both Stratford Athena, for literally Sutton Ecto, for a lot of these teams. Oof. Now, we don't see Sutton Ecto immediately. What do we see, George? We see Birmingham 2nd through 4th, but look how close that is.
That is so close between all these top 5 teams, but not just the top 5 teams, the top 7, to be fair. Maiden City Echo and Sutton Ecto, both on 75 points, just outside the leaderboards by 1 point. And yeah, honestly, anybody in this top 7, well, even top 10, to be honest, top 12, is very, very close indeed. And whichever one of these teams picks up the win in this next game, well, they could very well be winning themselves the Arena Clash for Fortnite. It is incredibly close, Toby.
Absolutely insane. It is nuts between these, how close it's actually gotten. We thought Stratford Athena would be taken away early on, week 1, week 2, like really running ahead of their opponents, but no, still so close, isn't it? And yeah, you mentioned how close it is, just outside the top 5 as we go into zero build. And you made a fantastic point actually during the break, George, in that Stratford Athena, they don't typically win zero build. You know, they are definitely better at normal standard Fortnite OG gameplay of throwing up walls, getting height advantage, and using things like the shockwave grenade to blast through other people's builds. That's where they can really leverage their skill and smarts. In zero build, some of that's taken away from them, I think. And it has shown that they just don't seem to win it. And so perhaps the opportunity there for these Birmingham teams, Maiden City Echo, Sutton Ecto just outside the top 5, to take advantage of that and have 2 games in a row potentially here for Stratford Athena where they don't even finish in the top 5 perhaps and really risk losing that first position.
Yeah, very true. Very true. There's so many teams in with a chance of winning this that it is going to be difficult for Stratford Athena. All eyes are really on them to slip up and throw it away. But when you've got Vortexia on your team, it is definitely a little bit of a bonus, to say the least. Professional player. We actually found that out recently. Fairly recently, not that we couldn't tell from his gameplay, because bit of a beast if you didn't know. But yeah, Birmingham, honestly, all of these teams in Birmingham should be cheering each other on and hoping one of them goes on to win the thing, because they are all so close that, well, I mean, it's 2 points difference, 3 points difference between them all. It's insane.
It's stressful. It's stressful, George. It really is. We'll go into game in just a moment. I mean, this is just the pressure on these players' shoulders is crazy. Now, maybe Vortexia with his professional experience will be a little bit more suited for this kind of level of stress in esports, right? Generally. But I am curious to see how they really do respond in this environment themselves, but in particular, a lot of perhaps the amateur players who are really performing at a really good level here, but are just so close with their close opponents there. As I said, through 2nd to 7th, 7th position, we go from 79 points to 75 there. So many teams within that 5-point margin.
Very true, but here we can see 2 figures dropping in, a player that we haven't really focused on too much so far this tournament, but going to be dropping in here at a fairly early drop near Greasy Grove. Personally, my favourite place to go in the map. It's probably one of the best POIs, to be honest. It's very safe. Usually a few players go there, get yourselves a few other kills on the board. But here in the Arena Clash, we don't tend to get too many people going over there. Plenty of vaults around as well. So if you do find a key like 2 figures just did, you can earn yourself a few better guns as they put down the chug canister and get themselves up to full shields.
Yeah, well said. Love me some Greasy Grove, as you know, George. It's a pleasure to see it back on the map in Fortnite after we lost it for a period of time a while back. Really am a big fan. As we scroll through then the players, as we get into the early game of, as mentioned, early build, or rather no build, Ads and Vortexia, no surprise there. They're in the Rave Cave. You can see them in blue towards the top end of the things. Dan and SolarLink themselves, no pressure really. I think they're down at Chonka Speedway checking out the map. Nice little position for them. Goat and Vitali, you see Ghost starting to get up their shields as well. Curious actually as well. Honestly, after some of the performances we just saw last game, there are Harmonici that are right at the bottom. Where have they chosen to go? No surprise, George. They're going to Towers, and again, Ghost are not there. They just don't compete now for that POI, which is it's quite miraculous to see this now in this final week of play. It only took them 3 weeks to kind of change up the strategy, though.
I mean, it worked for them last game.
Yeah, true.
I would definitely say they picked up plenty of kills, and although they didn't pick up the win in the end, they definitely performed well, I would say. But yeah, you know, it was a fairly decent start for them. Where I don't actually know where they went. Arm and Icy, though, you know, if you've got Tainted Towers to yourself, you're going to have a good start. And we do see a little bit less priority put on moving around. You know, we won't see the teams look to move to the Storm as quickly. We'll probably see them look to focus on guns more this game, as Tex takes a bullet, I think, and Thea has actually gone down as they're looking to push onto them, and Texas picks up the early kill, which is very nice because this team is a team that is very much looking to try and pick up the win. Birmingham Shield, they want to be getting that win. If they do, pretty much guaranteed to be on the top spot after this game, but that's a long way to go yet.
Oh, it is. It most certainly is, especially in no build. Position being everything, you don't have as many tools to really use to increase your mobility. Player just hiding behind the tree there. Not sure. Nope. Ghosts are not aware that he is literally just sat in the bush behind them after taking down his teammate earlier before. They are just trying to look for him right now. Sanja, I think. Just keeping a close eye out. Sanja is literally just going to be looking at them right now. And then moving away is literally like he's got some camouflage on and slowly kind of just keeping his footsteps quiet as he moves away. That's funny to see. But no, a really good start for Ghost, clearly. And it looks like starting over towards Lustrous Lagoon and a bit more in the wildlands, if you will, of the map is perhaps a good idea for them. And it does actually raise the question, George, whether they were actually really hampering themselves, Ghost, having such a difficult battle early on against Icy and Aram each game and really like limiting themselves and their potential as a result of being staggered in the loot department and perhaps even, you know, losing their lives quite often to Icy and Aram. This is certainly quite a miraculous strat change, and curious to see how they end up in this game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do get on. Hopefully, hopefully they can progress through the game and not have too many hiccups. I doubt we will see that. They do play fairly safe on build mode. We don't usually tend to see them get eliminated too early, so should be alright. But Dan has hit himself a vault. No guns that he wants to pick up there. Interesting. Only a green hammer and prime as they pick themselves up a car and look to move on to the next location, Chonka Speedway. Not really a place too many people tend to go, but there is an Octane here, which if the teams want to pick it up, if the teams are any good at controlling the Octane, they can do. It is really, really good in pretty much any mode, to be honest. It's really good at getting you around the map fast. You can go up buildings with it because you've got the rocket boost on it. It's a pretty sick car for them to add into the game, but as a fan of Rocket League, I always will be.
Of course. You know, anything that has a ball, I'm sure, George, you're a big fan of. And Rocket League, great game. It's a fantastic game. And it's a great point you make as well, because again, we're on zero build now. Mobility is hampered, safe to say, at the very least. Cover for sure, and a lot of vehicle usage can be of great benefit in that sense. I'm surprised we don't see any as a significant increase as you'd expect when we do come to zero build with the usage of vehicles. So yeah, let's wait and see, I guess, if Dan and Solo do eventually choose to kind of pick a vehicle and start driving around the island to help themselves in their journey here of winning this matchup. I mean, any predictions at this point early on, George? We haven't really spoke about much in the way of who you see coming towards the end, but I'm kind of fancying these two myself, Jammy and Sad Tipsy a little bit. I hope I've not given them a caster curse now, as they do come from the south end of the map.
It happens quite a lot, actually, the caster curse from us in Fortnite, but we'll have to see. As yeah, you know, they do like no build quite a lot. They tend to do quite well in both modes, to be fair, but we'll have to see how they get on. It's currently taking a little bit of damage from the storm, but nothing too crazy. I'm not too sure what he's looking for here. Jammy, maybe looking
Checking
for
the map, he was for a second,
the chest to open, I think, probably. Yeah, there's a gold hammer there if he wants it, and that would be a good one to get, but chooses not to. See, there are a lot of novelty guns in the game, like the ghost tagger. If you hit somebody with it, it kind of tags them on the map for your teammate, and it leaves it there for a while. So even if your opponent goes behind cover or anything like that, it's called the shadow tracker. It's basically a suppressed pistol, but it marks players. That's all it is, really.
It's a really clever introduction to the game. I have to give the Epic Games team props on that one. And it really has some really intelligent, great uses there, especially for teams who can communicate well. But did just see, top left of my screen, Vortexia getting it down, and I do want to actually catch up with these players to see how they're doing early on, right? Oh, Bruno as well getting taken down there. You can see his health go right down. Vortexia and ads, though, they are literally coming across a whole bunch of players themselves. Vortexia brought down to 73 HP as he does find the elimination on Kronos, but I think he's going to be okay. Some great, honestly, some great inventory actually for him to utilize there. Shockwave grenade once more to shoot off into the distance, into the safety of the new circle. Jammy as well. Just close as well, actually. Surprisingly, just in front of Vortex. He's going right behind him as well. This could be a really big shock for Jammy, but no. Shockwave in front. Jammy will get cleaned up, though, and as well, Ads does find Sad Tipsy. What a stark turn of events, actually. 29 players remaining after that. Early game, it is Ads and Vortexia that pick up 4 eliminations in total, including Sad Tipsy and Jammy. Wow.
Is that a caster curse I hear?
I think it is. I was about to say. Wow. Apparently I just put a shadow tracker on them as Vortexia just comes straight up behind them with a shotgun. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, fantastic stuff though. You have to give it to Stratford Athena. I was concerned for a moment, George, when we flicked over to the cameras as I saw the radar. There was so many players in the vicinity, but they just completely started wrecking everyone, it seems like. And very quickly, these players do disperse. Players just above as well, Ads shooting up towards them. But they look at home. They look comfortable right now.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really seem to be in any particular problems. Purple Violet looking to try and loot up something, but Vortexia is going to punish him. Oh, that's a lot of damage, though, from the exploding gas site. And another one. Vortexia needs to be careful. The bullets still come out. Purple Violet goes low and will eventually drop to Ads. No, Vortexia, no, missing a bullet. Might have to use another shockwave grenade, but just goes around the other side. Should be a fairly free kill now for Vortexia, and it will be. Picks up the kill onto Purple Violet, and Ghost Haze just went down. I saw in the top left-hand corner as well, which is a big shock.
It is. He's out of the game as of right now. Yeah, Texas will clean up Eamon, but no, he loses teammate in the process, and he is all alone, getting shot in the back a little bit from the green individuals on the minimap. It looks like he'll be okay and safe as even a boat if he could have risked that potentially to go through with a rubber ding, but no, would perhaps be a little bit too much of a risk. But again, to lose a player this early on for Ghost, not going to be too happy about that, given even Sad Tipsy and Jammy being knocked out is a very, very good opportunity to do well, especially with zero build. And so, unfortunate for them for sure.
I think he might have his teammate's card though, so he could be alright. He could still get him up if he goes towards the nearest reboot van. But yeah, that's one we definitely didn't expect to see. But this is the thing about no build. It does often have its surprises. Players can often get eliminated quite early on. We can see players take that L, but you know, that's the problem when you've got no builds. You do need to be careful of having that. Oh, this is a nice little thing to stumble into, isn't it?
This is lovely for Ghost Tech. Exactly what he needed, actually, given his struggles with the environment earlier on and the players, for sure. Just needs a little bit of a push now to be able to navigate what lies ahead. A little bit of a battle just off in the distance, too, as the teams do absolutely collide. Let's see if we can get an angle on that with the cameras. Oh, high ground. Not ideal being utilized against QO right now. I believe Vortexia actually just got a kill himself off screen, and I do wonder if they've been able to find players this quickly on.
Yeah, just picked up another 2 kills, I think, and on top of the balloon there, the airship, the one that flings you up in the air. I think that was Talisman and Heisenberg playing their usual
no surprise.
strat. Yeah, no surprise at all. Camping on top of the balloon.
Look at this. Yeah, Vortex, you're instantly just checking out where these players are. You can see the communications are clear, right, from the two, and they're hungry to see, one, checking if there's any players just checking where they are right now and noticing where they're coming from, and perhaps a snipe opportunity, but ads as well, trying to see if he can find a shot. I'm not sure if they're aware, George. Tex is just to the right as well. Wonder if he could cause issues here.
Bush camping. I think he's just hiding away, making sure he doesn't get in any trouble. Vortexia cannot see through bushes, thankfully. And will not be able to see Texas there, but they will take advantage of the balloon tower. Well, Vortexia won't. Vortexia will just wait, and he has actually seen Texas now, as they've kind of baited him out. They saw ads go up in the air and maybe thought the coast was clear, but not to be. We'll just kind of wait around, but they know that there is a potential opportunity to pick up another kill here, and they're just going to wait on top of the balloon.
Vortexia clearly called out to ads there. Yo, we got a player right on the edge of the storm, bring the sniper right here, and now they're just taking pot shots against them towards Texas' current position. He does shoot forward using the shotgun wave grenade. A little bit of damage, nothing too substantial, but he's not out of the woods yet. Honestly, oh, there's the shot. Boom. A lot of his shield gone down now, and I think that's going to really set the alarm off of Vortexia to see, well, maybe we can push. And in fact, no, the decision is made to come back now, as they do bounce up into the air to see what is around. Heisenberg and Talisman losing their height advantage now, George. They're down towards the buildings down below.
Yeah, Vortexia splitting right off from ads, though, unless he's going to sweep back in towards him now. No, maybe just going to go alone. Ads are still quite far up in the air, okay. I thought Ads had gone right in towards trying to fight Tex. I forget which one is still alive. But Koyao and Bindi are in a little bit of a tricky situation here, because it looks like Vortexia might look to come down in here.
Meanwhile, George, SolarLink just found Ghost Texas. That's Ghost out completely of this round now, so that's significant for sure. And it does thin out the forces a little bit for Vortexia and ads, I must say. Endstar and Misty finding Arham. That's Arham and Icy struggling immediately. Talisman still picking up kills themselves. I do want to catch up with them, actually, because Heisenberg, yeah, they're avoiding right now in many ways the pressure of ads and Vortexia, but they are still hunting round. And here we go. Yeah, Talisman will find Misty. Vortexia has finally found the push that he was looking for, and QO and ads helping out there. But Heisenberg and ads, 4 eliminations already as we get to the last 14 players. They're looking pretty good this game, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely. As there are a few shots coming out onto Rainbow Gecko, Monkey D Swervy as well. I'm not too sure how much HP he's got. There's maybe a little bit of a glitch out there, but
there you go. Yep.
Some shots going to come from Rainbow Gecko on towards him. Does go low. Heisenberg can't hit those bullets, can't find the kill, but it does look like the final few players will be convening here at this location.
Around the shimmering shrine we dance, it seems like. Monkey now brought down to half health. Gecko just kind of lurking in the back. I'm sure Heisenberg and Lilac are debating with themselves. Should we just go all in on these players that are really trying to avoid us? And looks like they eventually do go for it. Nice shot onto Monkey. Half health remaining. Shotguns out for both these players. They do collapse. Monkey will fall. Rainbow Gecko absolutely is going to be heard by Heisenberg with the gaming headset. So he jumps up and tries to challenge. Heisenberg absolutely says no and shuts him down. Another 2 eliminations coming through for these guys. They shockwave grenade towards the next circle. And yeah, they're doing fantastically well. As is Icy, who's been on his own for quite a while now and is lurking in, again, no build, so has not many opportunities to find cover other than what's naturally available to him around. Meanwhile, speaking of that, Ads is actually going to find the down on Heisenberg as they do find each other. Damage being put out by Talisman now. And with that player down just the top of the staircase, it's a precarious little position for these guys in Ads and Vortex. They're going to run straight away. Great timing, and they will find Talisman straight off the rip with those shotguns. Well timed indeed. It's like they almost waited for a moment. Pause, George, as the revive started coming through, and then they absolutely flew at them with not much damage being put their way as a result.
It was beautiful. They both waited patiently and just said to each other, well, they might have said this, but who knows? 3, 2, 1, right, let's go. Let's go up the stairs. They pushed together, both got the shots out. There's nothing you can do. When you're 1v2 like that, and both players are pushing towards you at the same time, in such cohesion, it's so difficult to do anything about it. And Vortexia and Ads, we said, you know, they don't usually do as well on no build mode, but right here they're showing that they have the aim, they have everything they need to win this game, and shots going to be coming out on towards them, but they don't look too scared.
No, they definitely look scared, George. But what I'm thinking about in my mind right now is the fact that Vortex, for the first time in what seems like ever, you know, throughout this entire Belong Arena Clash, was asking for the scores as soon as he could from the completion of the previous game to check on the scoreboard, because they know, I think, deep down, George, they didn't really perform as good as they perhaps were aiming to and what they're capable of, certainly in game number 1. So they knew game 2 had to come through. They really had to come through and perform to their usual standards here, despite, honestly, zero build being not as good for them as full build. And it seems like they're coming through with that game plan now, and they are really responding after a very difficult and unfortunate game 1 for them.
Very true, as they shield bubble up, push towards Solo and Dan, but they've got them bunker forts up, which does make it a little bit difficult for Ads and Vortex here to push onto them. They've got that high ground. Look, there's a shockwave grenade over onto the bunker, but bounces right off it. A little bit of a misplay. Bounces back up, and Solo take down Vortexia. Vortexia is down, but can Ads pick up the kills? Solo is so healthy. Ads going to blast away and might just look to try and... Okay, this is an interesting take on it.
It is. I mean, in that decision, he is basically saying, hey, we cannot continue this fight. Vortexia, he has to die. Ads literally just left him there completely and admitted that, hey, I want to play passive at this point, and playing ultra conservative, ultra passive as a result of completely disengaging and just going to hide essentially behind the map itself, behind a huge mountain. Interesting decision, and I think perhaps one that is very difficult to be made in the moment, but they did go with that decision. Adds 12 HP up to 5. The shields are going to go down to 15 HP. It certainly isn't as bad as his health going down, but it certainly was possible, George, given the position. I'm sure Ads had a little bit of a scare there for a moment. Solo very quickly found the angle onto him. 5 players remaining in total. 4 teams. Here we go, Ads. Shockwave grenade out. He's going all up to the top of the mountain. He's trying to contend, bouncing up and down, crouch strafing, but it's not going to work out. Dan and Solo eliminate him very quickly. He was stuck between a rock and a hard place, had to push, but it didn't pay off for them in the end, did it? For these guys. And now Dan and Solo perhaps are looking to find another absolutely incredible Battle Royale victory here.
They'll have to do so, but there is still 2 players left. It is Icy and it is Thea. Solo goes down. Icy still fairly healthy. Dan puts the bullets through and will go down. Dan still alive. Might pick up his teammate, but it would be a 1v1 if he didn't choose to do so. I think he is channeling it. I'm not too sure. But either way, it does look like this is going to be the win for Solo and Dan, as there is just 1 player left, not particularly healthy, in the shield bubble, trying to get the shots out. Thea, will he drop? Yes, he will. That is the win picked up for Solo, Linky, and Dan. A massive win for them. And yeah, congratulations to Birmingham NS Wolfpool, who were already in the top 5. who were
They
already in
were.
the top 5. 8 kills and the dub. Will it be enough to put them on the top?
That's the question. 2 victory royales in a row. I would never have predicted this team in particular to be the team to do that, especially with a really strong Stratford Athena team right there in the game, playing 12 eliminations they had up to that point, George. It looked stunning for them. It looked like it was set up for another victory, but instead wasn't going to happen, and they do fall in 4th place. Dan and Solo, my goodness me, 8 eliminations in total and a 2nd Battle Royale victory in a row, none other than on the finals week. 6 eliminations as well for Heisenberg and Talisman, who were looking strong as ever. Ghost, a disappointing match for them, 11th place with 2 eliminations in total, and likewise very similar affair for N-Star and Misty. What a great game that was. And Jammy finally and Sad Tipsy 17th place with 1 elimination to them. They have not had a good finals week so far.
No, they really haven't. It has been a struggle, but there is still time to pull it back. There is still time in this 3rd game, but you know, what a fantastic second game we had. No build is always one of those games which it always has a lot of shocks and a lot of turns, but I don't think we expected Vortexia to be going down in that situation. A little bit of a misplay, Shockwave grenaded onto the bunker and he actually bounced off the tires, put himself in a bad position and just got lasered down.
Yeah, and maybe they just got a little bit too comfortable for a moment, with those eliminations they had up to that point, and thought it would be a very simple push, but no, a little bit too quick on the shockwave grenades, perhaps. Fantastic game number 2. So let's take a moment as well, George, to remind the folks at home of what is a fantastic state of affairs. We've, of course, got more Belong Arena Cups on the way for Fortnite. That's right. This is not the final week of Fortnite. It is, I have the absolute pleasure of mentioning to you at this point in time. Tomorrow, we have Belong Arena Cup. 10 a.m. Is the time that me and George are going to be hopping in a call to discuss the event in front. No, and actually, it's not duos as well, George. So it's a kind of an interesting state of affairs there as well, as things do change, of course. And by the way, £5,000 prize pool for the cups for each. That is an incredible prize pool, and it will attract a huge amount of players and interest right off the rip, simply based on how incredible Belong Arena Clash with Fortnite itself has been, George. It's fantastic to see so much more action for Fortnite with Belong Arenas coming up.
Yeah, definitely. 3rd and the 17th of December. So make sure to get down to your local arena and participate. £5,000 prize pool. Absolutely massive. And you definitely don't want to miss out. Build on the 3rd, no build on the 17th. So hopefully we'll see you there.
Absolutely. We've got limited spaces for tomorrow. But remember, if you can't make tomorrow, bear in mind that 17th, there is still places and still places up for grabs. So definitely get involved, folks, if you're interested. But with that said, we're going to throw it to a quick break now. We'll get the scores tallied up and we'll be back for our final game of the night, back to full build straight after this short break.
You make me, you make me, you make me feel like a bad girl. You make me, you make me, you make me feel like a bad girl. Make me feel like a bad girl. Feel like a bad girl.
into my bones and veins. Still feel you feeling me. I can't seem to release this pain that you've planted inside me. You can take this from me, but you won't watch me bleed. You can take this from me, but you won't watch me bleed. You won't watch me bleed. Just right on the face in my way. I'll show you crazy. Still feel you feeling me. I can't seem to find peace. I can't let go. Every time you lose control, there's another blood I hold. When you stick and twist it down, so get those roads. Just right on the face in my way. I'll show you crazy. It takes some time to realize it's not your fault. It took me time, my whole damn life, to find the power that's in my hands. To find the power, to find the power that's in my hands. Just right on the face in.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for game number 3 and the final game of Fortnite Arena Clash for this split. Toby Campbell and George Overton talking you through this final game. We're back to full build, George, and the scores themselves are neck and neck between a lot of these teams. Curious to see how things are looking on that front. Because, hey, Stratford Athena, again, did not have the game they really wanted. Where are they in the scoreboard? Well, they're still there at the top, George. They have done just about enough to keep the others at bay. Birmingham, NS Wolf behind them with 120 just there.
Yeah, Solo and Dan just behind Stratford Athena. Vortexia and Ads did just about enough with the amount of eliminations they got, and now it is a 9-point difference between them and the second place spot. Maiden City Echo currently looking decent as well, 29 points outside of them, and that will be that's quite a big margin to break down. Talisman and Heisenberg in third place, but you know, it's all of these teams want a win at this point, and the thing is, for me, Stratford Athena, they're always going to go down to them last 5 or 6 teams, and they're always going to get a few kills. But we need to see Birmingham NS Wolf win this final game if they want to dethrone them.
Yeah, and the beauty of this as well, in 4th and 5th position, Palisade and Shield, it's insane. It's that showdown of Tainted Towers that we were talking about earlier, right? Of Arham and Icy of Palisade against Ghost Ties and Texas of Shield. Right there, they find themselves in 4th and 5th position, and they're closer than ever, despite kind of disengaging off the front of that journey into each game, which is, I think that's a really cool story to actually look at. And they have had kind of a rivalry now that is extended to the final week of play, the final game of play between them in 4th and 5th position. Really, really cool to see. And what a storied Belong Arenas clash we've been having here before. And it's been an absolute pleasure to cast with you, George, and for the viewers at home as well. I'm sure they've been enjoying a bunch too. And so this is a thing in general, is that this the final game with full build, George, after coming off 0 build. Stratford Athena are looking not as consistent as ever, but they clearly are back with the full roster, and they clearly care about the results. Again, mentioning earlier them trying to look for the scoreboard as soon as they can, something we haven't seen before. They are pressed, and they definitely really want to ensure they can finish in first place after this final game. And question remains, can they do it with a lot of the teams still neck and neck between each other, but just behind them?
Yeah, I mean, it's not only because they want to come in first place, but it also means a lot in terms of the prize pool, doesn't it?
Yeah, hugely so. I believe the prize pool indeed is as an insane amount of money. First place, by the way, £750 per player. Insane. Second place, 575 per player. Third place, £450 between both players, and it scales down from there right to 21st to 25th place, £50 each per player. It's a huge payout, George, and so much pressure for a lot of these newer players, amateur individuals who are new to Fortnite esports.
Pretty sure free to enter as well, by the way. So free money for a lot of these teams just for coming and competing. So massive, I'm pretty sure massive thank you to Epic for that. But yeah, you know, £750 per player for the winning team is absolutely that's a crazy big amount. Grassroots esports, by the way. But either way, we are into the third and final game here of the finals of the Belong Fortnite Arena Clash, and it looks like there might be a little bit of contesting going down towards the other end of the map, especially on Chrome Crossway and Chonka Speedway. Ads and Vortexia, they saw someone taking the Rave Cave, so they've had to go to a different position.
They don't want any of it. This is nuts to see. The final game of Arena Clash here in this split, and this is when they decide to change. Wow.
Strange, isn't it?
Unreal. And again, it's going to start them mentally, George, at the very least, off on a little bit of a different footing, right? A little bit more tension, perhaps, in their camp. A little bit more uncertain and a reduced level of confidence, just being pushed off their normal, usual game. So clearly, already, they got a little bit of cortisol going through their veins, perhaps, as we do progress through to this final game. Chonka Speedway is where they do elect to start off their journey here for this final game.
Yeah, definitely. Getting them builds up, you need to to get their mats as quickly as possible in this early game, especially when there are opponents about. Not a crazy amount though. I think we saw Jack Doherty nearby, Purple Violet just up on the hill. The Sads might want to try and get a few shots in. Will get a few shots in. A lot of damage down onto Purple Violet, loses all of the shield and a little bit of health. But yeah, there is a few players. Well, they're all a bit scattered about at the moment as well. I think a few players realised there might be a bit of contesting going down and kind of split up and went to some different POIs. But some shots coming out. Jammy healing himself up there as well. Jack Doherty taking a little bit of damage, probably full damage. But yeah, fairly, again, a weird start for Ads and Vortex here, but I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think they're the only team really in shooting distance right at the bottom of this map of players. And Jack Doherty, you mentioned his name. He is the one really be impressed by Ads and Vortex who are hunting down their first elimination. You know, I'm sure they got some respite in the fact that they've turned to full build and they have the full arsenal of Fortnite available to them once more, because yeah, they definitely are stronger at this mode. It is absolutely certain, no doubt about it. But I think just having those extra tools during what are high pressure times, right, for anyone, generally speaking, in Fortnite is such a huge plus, and just a bit of comfort for these guys. And I'm sure they'll be very happy now that this is perhaps the mode that they're playing.
I'm just trying to think of the main reason why they went to Chonka Speedway. Obviously, we did see a different team go to the Rave Cave. I'm not too sure. It might have been Thea and... no, it's actually Jammy and Tipsy.
Oh,
maybe Jammy and Tipsy were trying to get the contest on them. I'm not too sure. Or maybe it wasn't Jammy and Tipsy.
No,
Thea and Shiny Town. Not too sure. But either way, they are in a little bit of a battle. Kronos and Riley currently sitting here, taking a lot of bullets. Sad Tipsy looking to shoot through the builds with that rapid SMG. Does have the goo gun, so could potentially look to use it, but I think they might just be piecing out there.
Trying, but Sad Tipsy and Jammy have completely read them as they go up top, looking for that final elimination before they do head out, but they will drop down. Riley is right below, and they do collapse completely on him. This should be a very simple cleanup for them, and a really nice start, actually, for Jammy and Tipsy to find that elimination and stack up some points early on in this game, and also get that additional loot. That's important, right? They've not really been having some solid performances tonight so far. I don't think they've even got to top 10, George, yet. And so they've really not had a great time in the week that you need to be performing at your best. And it's kind of a similar storyline where you have the Titans like Jammy and Tipsy, but also really Stratford Athena so far having a really tough Friday.
Yeah, I mean, Birmingham NS Wolf, currently solo, and Dan currently sitting in second, but Birmingham NS Vogue currently sitting in seventh, quite a way away from that top spot. And yeah, that is something that we need to watch out for. We do need to watch out for if they can kind of climb their way up the table, but it is going to be fairly difficult. But every place matters in this grand final, as we've told you through the prize pool. You know, $750 per player for first place, 575 second, 450 third, 350 fourth. So it's really important that even if you are having a bad day, even if you are having a few bad games, you want to try and get yourself as high up that leaderboard as possible, and you know, pick up them wins and win yourself some money.
Super important. Speaking of comfort in terms of PRIs, Icy and Arham back to it, completely at their safe haven of Tainted Towers. And you see Ghost is kind of in the distance there. Arham and Icy are kind of looking across, but yeah, they're comfortable. They've got no competition. They're just playing the usual game and look to be pretty good. Off to a pretty good start here, as well as Ghost as well, just in the distance as mentioned. Dan solo kind of lurking just outside that Tainted Towers arena, if you will. And now you see a lot of players coming from the top end of the map downwards. And Heisenberg and Talisman Lilac looking okay as well in terms of their position right now. No one nearby, right at the center of the circle. But I am curious as to where these top teams, or who are the top teams, will kind of start having a little bit of pressure put amongst them as players do collapse from the north in particular.
Birmingham Palisade as well, Aram and Icy currently sitting in fourth in the table. Not looking too bad. Would like to see them perform well here in this game. Obviously, they've done fairly well. In the first game, they did really well. Second game, not so much. But Dan and Solo, or sorry, not Dan and Solo. Yes, Dan and Solo. The team that are most likely to upset the top team in Stratford Athena. They're looking fairly good, and they are going to have a good third game here, though, if they want any chance of doing that. And to be honest, the top of that table is so close that even if there is a massive upset and somebody gets eliminated early on, which, to be fair, we are still fairly early on, considering Icy takes a lot of damage from Goat. They didn't know who's there, and they're going to build up straight away. Vitali and Ghost building up. Icy right at the bottom of this build, so they do need to be a little bit careful here. Gonna look to peek out, see if they can find anything. Shockwave grenades out. Icy forced into a bit of an awkward position, but they will get out scot-free. Will have to burn a few builds, but they will get out regardless.
Yeah, they kind of tested, right, that flank, but as soon as Icy realized, he was literally waiting around that corner, aiming for Icy, I think they realized early on that that build advantage they had was too much, and so elected to Shockwave out. And again, I respect it. I think it's a really good decision there, especially considering their position. Honestly, yeah, they're going further away towards the direction of the storm, but they kind of don't want to get held up here this early on, stuck on the edge of the storm and having that continued fight where a third party could come in at any time and really ruin their chances of climbing up that table.
Very, very true, as they're looking to try and get out of Tainted Towers here as the storm does come in. Quite a way away as well, actually. It's down at Shonka Speedway in Cloudy Condo, as we still see the two players, Stratford Athena players, looking fairly strong down at the condo, but Safe and Shenron actually going to be eliminated by Ads and Vortexia down there, and Solo, you can see here, Solo and Linky, as we flick back to Ads and Vortexia, who have 3 kills already. With just 7 players being eliminated, they have 3 of those 7 eliminations, and this is looking like a very strong start to this game for these two players.
It is. It certainly is, and the loot is checking out for them right now. Absolutely gorgeous start for Vortexia and Ads, albeit considering what was a really unpredictable landing here at Jonker Speedway. They've certainly made it work, haven't they? They've dealt with the difficulties presented so well, and I think they've got a pretty good circle as well. Usually they're the one kind of chasing that circle from the edge of the storm, right? This time that's different. They have some time to work with, and I do wonder if that's going to really help them here in their campaign for this final game, where they really need to guarantee that they'll stay on top in that first position place.
Well, I don't think many of the teams probably expected Ads and Vortexia to be this far down the map already. Obviously, you know that they start a Rave Cave usually, well, 90% of the time. This is the first time we've ever seen them not go there, with Ads and Vortexia on the team. So it's definitely one of those situations of maybe teams don't actually know that it's them. Sad Tipsy and Jammy, though, are going to be in the sights of Texas. Whether they choose to take the shots, we don't know. Bruno Fernandez goes down to Misty, so Misty picking up a kill there. I think that's Maiden City Echo picking up a kill, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
no, I am wrong.
No, nonetheless, though, despite those kills and Misty really starting off strong there, off in the distance, we've got a bit of a triangle going on here between Icy, Arham, and you have Ghost just off in the distance. That I don't think either of those two teams in front are aware that they're there. Jammy and Tipsy with the height advantage up top, a sniper in the hands of Ties as well. Oh, this is perilous for everyone involved. Sad Tipsy and Jammy to be super careful here. Still wondering if they've actually seen them. There goes the shots. Sad Tipsy lit up completely. Ghost X is trying to just finalize that kill with a little bit of AR shots coming from both players. Ooh. Solo with Sad Tipsy just off into the distance, trying to get away. Remember, the circle is very quickly escaping actually Icy and Arham, and now Ghost 2 as they do go into the storm momentarily. As very quickly that kind of triangle of doom, if you will, has been completely split up. Icy and Arham actually are going to have Texas just a little bit behind here. They have there we go, that's the vehicle he was looking for. That makes sense. Shockwave grenade 2 as well for Texas, so Ties and him should be okay as Misty does pick off another elimination here in the distance across. But they're going to come into each other, I think, into really big combat here. Vortexia getting a kill, or rather a down. Yeah, no, I do correct myself. A kill. Heisenberg and Talisman Lilac, they are out completely of the game as Vortexia finds them. That's huge.
That is massive. That is an absolutely massive kill. Wow, Heisenberg and Talisman, one of our top teams, and to get the kill onto them pretty much guarantees another team out of contention of that top spot. Yeah, wow, interesting start. That is Maiden City Echo and Talisman and Heisenberg. So the third place team not going to be picking up any more points today. So we'll have to see how they do finish at the end of the day, because there is a lot of teams still left to go. Ghosts are still in there. Texan Tide, Vitali and Goat under a lot of fire and completely out of builds. This is a perilous situation for Goat. Does need to try and get some sort of cover. Finds himself some shields. Got the heals already, so should be okay, but will get pushed up on. His teammate is here for him, though.
You do not want these players chasing after you, not at all. Vortexia and Ads are here to collect on the eliminations that the damage from the storm had really set up for them. Goat has been able to get some health back, but he's completely split up from his teammate. Ads and Vortexia are still looking for that. Vitali just above the top of the build here. Gecko has actually been able to get up here, and he is back in the fight here with his teammate Monkey just behind Goat. He is stuck right now. He's not got many options, honestly. Trying to build through or destroy, excuse me, the build just above him, separating Vitali and him as teammates. They should be okay for a moment. I'm surprised actually that Vortex Ads haven't just completely gone in on this. I guess they do turn for a moment to find the sniper shot onto Monkey, as they do play it slow for a moment of time. There we go. There's the down.
There is the down. Vortexia picking up the kill, and Vortexia now building up to look to try and kill the teammate as well, and will do just that. Monkey D Swervy goes down, and, well, Vortexia now on 5 kills. And honestly, Ads doesn't even need to help Vortexia here, just leaving his teammate to do whatever he wants. Rainbow Gecko trying to get away, might take a shot from Ads here. No, misses the shot, doesn't choose to follow up many AR bullets. And you can see here, they're kind of, I don't know if they know that Vitali and Goat are still in there, but they're getting away pretty jammily here.
I know. I do wonder if they've kind of just made the decision here, George, to just play it super safe. Play it super safe, and that's why Ads kind of went up to the top there, so they kind of like cover their exit, if you will, in case they do pop out and have a third party appear from somewhere. Of course, these players, they don't have the mini-map that we do as spectators, so they can't be sure exactly where players are at all times and where the third parties will come from. So I think it's just really a symptom of the pressure that really is thrusted upon these players. Ads will taxi, they have 6 eliminations. They really have to kind of overstretch now, given that really big foundation of score. So I think they're just focused on, well, there you go. They pick up Purple Violet in the distance. It really goes to show they can pick off eliminations quite easily at any time. But the goal of kind of finishing as high as possible position-wise is absolutely of paramount importance.
Well, Birmingham and Vogue, they were already having a bad day, but now Sad Tipsy, he has sadly been eliminated, and Jammy Find will be all on his lonesome. It was actually two figures 2K or some, I think that was his name, picked up the kill. 2 figures 1K picking up the kill onto Sad Tipsy. So good job from them there, getting a few points. Some shots going to come out again, and Jamie will have to run away. But this is now starting to become a bit of a dangerous position for this player, as he is having to get to that safe zone and having to move there fast. Solo and Dan, though, we're going to catch up with these guys, as there is a lot of shots coming up.
There is. Ads and Vortexia now being shot upon for what seems like the first time in this round so far. They look so comfortable, but now the minimap is closing in on them. So many players around them. Solo Link and Dan have had 2 victory royales in a row. If they can somehow get a third, that would be absolutely insane. They're looking okay so far in terms of positioning, in terms of weaponry. Not too bad. Not too bad. Could be worse for sure, but could be a lot better. But here we go. Ads and Vortex just seem to be moving in very quickly now to try and find the kills here on Dan and Solo.
Yeah, very true. But the problem for Dan and Solo is they actually don't have any eliminations at the moment. And Ads and Vortex here, they have plenty. So it will be very difficult for them to beat this team unless they are to eliminate them pretty much now. We'll have to see if they can do that. Aram and Icy just waiting outside. Nice and safe, but Dan and Solo currently getting absolutely barraged by these goop guns. Ooh. And look at the amount of shots that come through there. Dan is on 10 HP. No, scratch that. Dan is down. And Solo is, well, Solo's off
Oh
the
my.
win, but Dan has been eliminated, and Solo has said, you know what, we need to try and just survive here, so I'm going to run away.
That was crazy damage coming out from Ads and Vortexia there. That I've never seen so much damage be placed upon players so securely placed in a bunker in an environment as competitive as this. Well played, Ads and Vortexia. Crazy amount of damage. The lethality of these two players in this game has completely turned around. 9 eliminations now, 12 players to go, and they really haven't looked threatened as of yet. They made that, I guess 2v2 quite comfortable and almost too easy, considering Dan and Solo, we were just discussing, could they take 3 wins in a row? Doesn't seem like when these two players are on form.
Yes, it's difficult to overcome Ads and Vortexia. They're so fast. As soon as they get through those builds straight away, they've got them shots coming through as well, and they're looking to take down Kronos here as he does manage to get a little bit of high ground actually on top of Ads, but will manage to edit through, build up, and it is good. Will be able to find the shot. No, will miss it. And now Kronos is on the low ground, had to build down, and Vortexia and Ads now breaking through, pick up the kill, and they just make it look so simple, so easy, but I can guarantee you it is most definitely not. 10 players remaining, Ads and Vortexia in prime pole position here to pick up the win.
Witness the fitness that Ads and Vortexia are now clearly known for here in the arena. Belong arenas for Fortnite Arena Clash in particular. They are back to their original form. 10 eliminations, and they are making it look so easy. That competitive drive in them, that professional level player in Vortexia is coming to show here for this final game. It's fantastic to see as we now come down to the last remaining players of this final game. Arham and Icy, they will clean up Solo Link. That's him out. That's the team gone. And Arham and Icy themselves are still very much in a good position here to even look for the victory royale.
Yes, a perfect opportunity for Aram and Icy to pick up some kills and move up that leaderboard while they can. We'll have to see though, because they no, okay, 100 builds is a pretty decent amount. I'm not sure if he's trying to drop them for Icy. Will do 75 for Aram, so an okay amount, not a crazy amount, but most of these players will be running fairly low. Rainbow Gecko still all on their own. Monkey D Swervy took the L, unfortunately, towards, I think it was actually Vortexia that picked up the kill in that situation. Well, most of the kills have gone to Vortexia this game. Icy and Aram going to blast away, but will take a lot of damage from Ties and Tex, but not enough to put them down.
Ooh, good shot. Good shot from Ties there. Really finding the arm of Vortexia, but they should be okay. They're right at the top of the mountain with plenty of builds too around them. Meanwhile, Ghost, they're hungry. They're looking to see if they can finalize this. I think Ghost Tex actually took a little bit too much damage there, considering the situation. Perhaps shooting his feet as he does progress across, but Icy and Arm, they're still here. They're still very much aware of Ghost's position. They're trying to see if they can get some damage and open up the fight there. Ghost continuing to build, and they really have to be careful though of Ads and Vortexia threatening from above, where all these battles below going on. It's like a war zone, and Ads and Vortexia are still getting shot actually just from below.
Yes, it's dangerous because Ads and Vortexia are so high up. They have such a good position. It could be the storm. Yeah, Ad's taken a lot of damage. It's going very low, but will just about manage to stay up. Medkits in the lobby, but will go down. Nice damage onto the builds, but will not be able to pick up much more than a little bit of damage on towards Ads. Vortexia is still very, very healthy, and Ghosts and Aram and Icy are currently fighting to see who can... Well, the problem is these two teams are both going to fight, and then they're going to have to fight Ads and Vortexia because they're just going to sit up on top of the high ground, be patient and wait. Lasering down on towards Ghost's building. Oh, it's a great shockwave grenade. That might just eliminate Ads. That's a lot of damage coming out. 60, 50, 40 should be fine. Will build in and will be okay. But Vortexia and Ads both very, very low, and I don't know how much meds they've got left.
Great point. No shield as well for Ads left either, and it's a difficult situation, but Vortexia and Ads, they've been able to survive for now at the very least. Ghost Texas has been downed himself. Icy with that incredible shot grenade.Despite his efforts, Ads will get back to full health, courtesy of Vortexia actually, healing both his teammate up and himself. Now, the storm is closing in, and they're going to be building ready for the best position at the end. 7 players remain in total, 4 teams, as Icy and Arham are now above.
They are indeed, they are above, and they have got They're raining damage down towards Ads and Vortexia, who don't have any shields left. Currently on 88. Well, Vortexia is full now, and Ads is looking pretty healthy, but still so many bullets coming down onto them, and it doesn't look like they'll be dropped low. Gecko all alone, but will drop finally. Ads picking up the kill there. Vortexia really low. It's all going to come down to this last few moments here.
Yes, it is. Ads Vortexia. Texas just off below, but here comes Icy and Arham. Can they clean up here and find that victory royale? I do wonder. Vortexia, no, he's going to get downed. In fact, Ghost Texas will find him, and Ads is in a very troubling situation. He's going to get dropped. Texas with a double on none other than Stratford Athena, with 2 players remaining in total, or rather 2 teams, I should say. Texas, though, still very much alive with ties as he tries to escape. Icy and Arham just above.
These 2 teams are, well, 2 of the teams that have had bad luck at times in this tournament, but have been 2 of the best teams in the tournament so far, and we are going to see who will pick up the win here. It's been a moment of absolute madness the last minute or so. Ads and Aram dropping down, and that will be the win. Aram and Icy, Birmingham Palisade, will find what it takes. They had what it takes, and they find the victory royale on the final game of Belong Arena Clash. Congratulations to them. 4 kills, and, well, they clutched up in the moment that mattered. But you've got to say, 11 kills once again going for Vortexia and Ads, who just looked unstoppable. Okay, they didn't get the victory royale, they didn't get the win, but well played from them to get that many kills.
That was incredible to witness. Vortexia and Ads, 11 eliminations, as you said. They did finish in 3rd place there, despite all their efforts to play for position, to play for height advantage. Ghost, Texas, and Ties were the ones to kind of eliminate them in the end, right at the bottom as they dropped down. Fantastic play from them. But no, it was a story of Icy and Arham, who played it safe and continued to really fight away for the height advantage. And even an incredible shot grenade from Icy earlier on that almost took out Ads before the top 5, George. So they even earned it, really, with some great showings of raw skill. Despite what was only a 4 elimination game for them, they truly, truly deserved that victory royale of the last game here of Arena Clash.
Yeah, very true. They had moments where they were really being pressured and pushed by some of these teams, and they stayed resilient through all of it. They had the goo gun to take out some of the builds of Ads and Vortexia. There was some absolutely fantastic moments with some shockwave grenades, showing the level of their skill. And yeah, down to the final moments of that match, they hung on in there, and although your hands might be shaking, the adrenaline a little bit too much for you, they managed to pick up the win regardless. And although that might not mean that they get the win overall, we'll have to wait and see what the leaderboards say, but definitely a good win for them, and a massive congratulations to Birmingham Palisade.
Absolutely, congratulations to them. I mean, we will confirm the scores in just a moment for you folks and have the final leaderboard just in a moment's time. But yeah, I mean, that game in particular was an excellent showing from a lot of these teams. Yes, we didn't see Solo and Dan kind of perform in the same way that we saw in game number 1 and game number 2. Of course, who other than Stratford Athena to really stop them in the tracks there before even the closing moments and the end game, if you will, for that match. Not only that, but Jamie and Sad Tipsy, they didn't really turn up today in a huge way, George. They probably had quite a disappointing night in terms of for themselves, right? And so I'm sure they'll be sad about that in many ways. But clearly, Stratford Athena themselves, if you're talking about mental game and considering performances, they will be super happy with themselves, I think, regardless of how the scores might turn out and this final leaderboard when we do bring it up. Whatever it shows, I think they'll be super happy in the way they came back, at least in game number 3. After what game number 1 and game number 2, quite difficult for them. And it really was a precarious situation that was thrust upon them going into the final game of the night.
Yeah, definitely. It's a difficult situation, especially when you have to go up against Stratford Athena. It's very difficult going head to head with them. They're such a good team. They've got Vortexia is just a beast. Like, just be plain and simple with you. Goes into situations being really aggressive and somehow always comes out on top. But not in the final moments of that match. It was, they got forced into a difficult situation.
super difficult situation. And by the way, just the way they handled it as well, ads in particular. I think Vortexia a number of times this evening was the first to go down. Clearly, the pressure will be thrown onto ads as a result very quickly. And I think it really goes to show that ads has put in so much time, week in, week out, always performing, even when his teammate Vortexia isn't there, that he can still continue to really be able to drive home an awesome matchup, regardless of the situation that really is put onto them as teammates, but also as an individual when he does lose Vortexia. George, it's been absolutely a fantastic, incredible time, and I'm sure these players are going to be so eager now to see this final scoreboard once all of those are confirmed by the awesome admin team here at Belong Arenas. But another team I really want to point out as well is Talisman, Lilac, and Heisenberg. They didn't have a good position there in the last game either. 0 eliminations to their name. That we didn't really see them towards the end game either much this evening. And I think this might be another team that kind of kicks themselves a little bit. Likewise, Goat and Vitali of Leicester Tooth, not really much of a showing either. They didn't get to the end game, I don't believe, once out of those 3 games. And so it's kind of unfortunate as well in that they've performed so well week in, week out until this final night. They've experienced some great difficulty there. And as we go through these teams, George, and I'm sure you'll agree, it's not to kind of criticize and hark on them, but it's more so to show how much of a variety we've had between these top teams and how competitive it truly has been for the teams that we've gone through tonight in terms of analysis. Have really suffered a lot of difficulty as a result of extreme competition.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure in a grand final with such a big prize pool. For a lot of these players, they might not play Fortnite professionally. They might not play it competitively. They might not play it a crazy amount at all. But for them to, for us to have such a wide variety of winners and victories over the last 4 weeks, it has been really good fun to see some of these players that might not necessarily have a massive background of knowledge in terms of Fortnite, but to jump on and perform and to have a good show. And it is great to see. Now, when you come down to the grand finals and a few of the players do have a little bit of a hard time, it happens. Sometimes you turn up, you have a bad game. Sometimes you have a bad day. It does happen, unfortunately. But, when it comes down to it, that consistency that we did see from Stratford Athena is the reason why, well, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to say yet, but that is the reason why they have been one of the top teams consistently week in, week out.
Yeah. We right now, George, we're still not sure ourselves as to the final scores because they have to be rigorously checked, right? And as a result, I think me and you, though, as a prediction, would be we'd assume, right, that Stratford Athena have done enough, despite not having those kind of like battle royale victories and victory royales that they were looking for. Perhaps despite that, because of the extreme amount of kills they've got, especially in game number 2 and 3, it should be enough. I've not done the maths in my head. I've been too busy entertained by all of these players and the action on our screens, but you'd assume so from the elimination points that they've done, we think, enough. Just enough.
We think just. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's been a cracking tournament. Obviously, we've got the Arena Cups coming up. We've got one tomorrow, one on the 17th, and I don't know, I'm kind of spitballing here off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's £5,000 prize pool for each of them. Absolutely crazy. Make sure to get down to your arena. Limited spaces for tomorrow, which is build mode, but no build on the 17th. Make sure to get down to your local arena, go on and get involved, and solos as well. So you don't need a partner. You can just rock up and game on. But yeah, Fortnite, it's the first time casting Fortnite this tournament, and what a pleasure it has been. It's been crazy. It's been a madness. Every single game is filled with mayhem, and that's what I live for. Controlled chaos.
Yeah, controlled chaos. And it's a reminder, right, for the competition that these guys have between these teams that we mentioned, right, and struggles. They're also struggling against the format itself of Battle Royale. This is why we love it, is the chaos that ensues can be super unpredictable. And it just has the journeys that we experience as casters and spectators as we scan through these cameras, as third parties come in, as we see different variables thrown in. I mean, even the Goop Gun, as me and you have described it happily from week number 1, right? The utility that has as a weapon is absolutely stunning in of itself. And Vortexia and ads used that earlier to extremely good success, which in almost a shocking way. And really, Fortnite requires the facility of all these players to use whatever weaponry is available for them, and especially in Belong arenas, the mixed environments of build and no build. And so, folks, are we ready? Let's bring it up, shall we? The final leaderboard. Here we go. Number 1, no surprise, Stratford Athena, 171 points. George, because of all those eliminations, they were able to distance themselves in the end between first and second place. Birmingham NS, 138 points. They will find second place. Congratulations to them. Birmingham Shield 129, Palisade 129 as well. Both of them with 129 points. Maiden City Echo there in 5th place with 110 points. George, what an incredible scoreboard there in the end.
So apparently we're going to be resolving the tie of 3rd and 4th place between Birmingham Shield and Birmingham Palisade off stream, but there are plenty of other teams in the tournament, as you guys know, outside of the top 5. And I'm not sure if are we allowed to talk about the rest of the teams? So we've got Sutton Ecto in 6th, Birmingham NS Vogue in 7th, Birmingham NS Bulls in 8th, Sutton Horn in 9th, and Leicester Tooth in 10th. I think I'll leave it there for those teams. I don't want to reel them all off, but yeah, congratulations to every single one of these teams. Really well played. And Stratford Athena, what can you say? They had so many kills. They performed absolutely fantastically. And at the end of the day, they are our Belong Arena Clash Fortnite champions.
Absolutely so. And for actually some more information on the 3rd and 4th place as we hear it through, and something we are very much aware of too is the fact that Palisade got the victory royale in 3rd game. That really just puts himself just above in that position, right? Well, meanwhile, or rather Birmingham Palisade did, and so they will be getting the 3rd place position. And in fact, because Birmingham Shield didn't get that victory royale, they'll be in 4th place, and that will be the kind of differentiator between those two positions of 129 score. Of course, that leaderboard placed in that score level, so that will be the differentiator between the two. But nonetheless, but without even needing to go into the weeds, George, we know exactly how good these teams have been performing. We kind of had no doubt in our minds as we were kind of going through the analysis. Yeah, when you think about the level of eliminations or the number of eliminations that Strat Athena got, and they got kind of the top 3 position locked in at the very least in that final game. No surprise there. They made enough of a distance as they remained consistent. Meanwhile, Birmingham NS Wolf and the remaining teams kind of had a little bit of a more choppy night in terms of how they finish, whether that be with 0 eliminations or, not much more than 3 with a bad position compared to, say, Stratford Athena, who, yes, didn't have a great position, say, in second game, but they still bagged in a lot of eliminations, giving them that cushion and thus consistency as they keep the position at the top.
Yeah, exactly. They were very much picking off the stragglers, so to speak. They found teams that were looking to try and get into these fights, and even if some of the teams they couldn't really build up to their height, and they just laser down onto them, and that was really the difference. Stratford Athena just managed to find the kills when other players, they tried to be a little bit safer and make sure they could get down to those final few teams where Ads and Vortexia, they were just being aggressive. They were picking up kills, and they knew that it didn't matter if they would pick up the victory at the end of the day because they got all a crazy amount of kills. 12. I think they had 12 twice tonight. So yeah, incredibly well played to them and the rest of the teams out there as well. There's a big prize pool, so all the teams are going to be going home happy.
Absolutely so. And a very quick reminder before we sign off here, it's prizes per player now. First place, £750 for both Vortexia and ads for all their efforts throughout week in, week out. What an awesome prize pool that Belong Arenas of Fortnite have provided for these incredible players. And I'm sure Vortexia and ads will be super happy there in first place. Of course, second place, $575 per player. Third, $450. Fourth, $350 per player. And fifth, $300 per player too. And you scale down from there all the way to 21st to the 25th position. Incredible prize pool and incredible 4 weeks of play. George, it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. But of course, Belong Arena Clash of Fortnite might be over for this split, but we've still got more Fortnite action to come. Even tomorrow, folks, we do have a Belong Arena Cup for Fortnite. Of course, the £5,000 prize pool we mentioned earlier, that is on offer for tomorrow. I think we're quite limited on spots, actually, because of the popularity that we've been experiencing, especially after Belong Arena Clash. But absolutely do come down just in case to your local Belong Arena, in case there are still spots remaining for what is sure to be an incredible day. Of course, the following week, on the 17th, in fact, on a Saturday as well, we do have the same again, £5,000 prize pool. That time it will be 0 build. Tomorrow, of course, is full build. And so there you have some variety on offer for you, dependent on what you do favor in Fortnite gameplay. George, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm sure the viewers at home have had a fantastic time. Surely, because it has been that action-packed week in, week out. And folks, to you at home, I hope you've enjoyed as much as we have. And please do join us tomorrow on stream as we do cast over the Belong Arena Cup for Fortnite. My name is Toby Campbell, George Overton signing out. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.